I have not built my coffin yet, but I have designed it. I have chosen the wood. I have drawn the joints. I have thought about every single detail of how it will go together. And I want to tell you what that process taught me. Because it taught me more about woodworking, and more about myself, than almost any other project I have ever planned. Stay with me. This one is different. Welcome to Wood Uncle. It started the way most ideas start in a woodworking shop. I was looking at a project that someone else had built and thinking, I could do that better. Except this time the project was a coffin. And the someone else was a funeral home. I will not tell you what they charge for a basic wooden coffin. You would not believe me anyway. What I will tell you is that when I looked at the joinery, the wood choice, the finish, I felt the same thing I always feel when I see overpriced and underbuilt furniture. I felt annoyed. And then I thought, why not build my own? Not because I need it yet. Not because I am in any particular hurry to use it. But because as a woodworker, it is the most honest project I could ever take on. A project with no client. No one to impress. No deadline. Just you, the wood, and the question of what you actually know how to do. So I started designing it. And that is when it got interesting. The first thing that happens when you design a coffin is that every shortcut you normally allow yourself disappears. When I build a cabinet, there is always a back panel no one will see. A bottom shelf that sits on the floor. A joint that faces the wall. I am not proud of it. But it happens. When I designed this coffin, I sat down to draw the first corner joint and I thought, there is no wall for this to face. There is no back panel. Every surface of this box will eventually be seen. Not by me. But by the people I love most. And that changes how you think. Suddenly I did not want to use pocket screws. Suddenly I did not want to use secondary wood on the interior. Suddenly I wanted every single joint to be the best joint I know how to cut. I am not saying you need to build a coffin to become a better woodworker. But I am saying there is something clarifying about a project where you cannot hide anything. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you built something where every surface mattered? Where there was nowhere to hide a shortcut? That discipline, brought to every project, is what separates work that lasts from work that does not. I spent longer choosing the wood for this project than for anything I have ever built. And I want to tell you why. Because the reasoning will change how you choose wood for everything else. My first instinct was walnut. Beautiful grain. Dark and rich. The kind of wood you choose when you want something to look serious. But the more I thought about it, the more walnut felt like a performance. Like I was trying to impress someone. And who exactly would I be trying to impress? So I thought about oak. English oak specifically. The wood that built the ships that sailed the world. The wood in the oldest chairs and tables in the oldest houses in the oldest towns. A wood that does not need to perform. A wood that simply endures. And that felt right. There is a lesson there for every project you build. The question is not just which wood looks best. The question is, what does this wood mean? What does it say about the thing you are making and the person who made it? Most of us choose wood based on price and availability, and what is in the rack at the timber yard. And there is nothing wrong with that. But the projects that become heirlooms, the ones your grandchildren will keep, are usually the ones where the wood was chosen deliberately. Where someone thought about what this material actually means. Choose your wood like it matters. Because it does. This is where it gets practical. And this is where most woodworkers make their biggest mistake. When I started thinking about the joinery for this box, I had to ask a question I had never seriously asked before. How long does this joint need to last? For a coffee table, 10, 20, maybe 30 years if it is well built. For this, I genuinely do not know. And neither do you. So I went back to the oldest surviving wooden boxes I could find. Egyptian burial chests. Medieval reliquaries. Tudor furniture still standing in English houses after 500 years. And you know what I found? Every single one of them used the same small set of joints. Through dovetails, mortise and tenon, drawboard pegs. No glue in many cases. No metal fasteners in the oldest ones. Just wood connected to wood in a way that tightens as it ages rather than loosening. The drawboard mortise and tenon is the one I keep coming back to. You cut the mortise and tenon, drill a hole through the assembled joint slightly offset, drive a tapered wooden peg through the offset hole, and the joint pulls itself tight permanently. No clamps. No glue. No hardware. Furniture built this way has survived centuries. Centuries. I am not saying you need to build every project with hand-cut drawboard joinery. But I am saying that when you are building something you actually want to last, something that matters, this is what lasting looks like. Use the joints that have already proven themselves. Not the ones that are fastest. Not the ones that are easiest. The ones that work. Here is something that surprised me when I started researching finishes for this project. The finishes we use today, the water-based polyurethanes, the oil-modified varnishes, the two-part lacquers, none of them existed 100 years ago. And all of the furniture from 100 years ago is still here, finished with things we consider old-fashioned. Linseed oil, shellac, wax, tung oil. Those finishes are still on that furniture because they were designed to be maintained. To be reapplied. To be cared for. They are finishes that understand wood is a living material that needs to breathe. A modern polyurethane finish is a plastic film. It looks perfect when it goes on. And then it starts to fail at the edges, at the joints, anywhere the wood moves. Because wood always moves. And plastic does not. For this project I decided on a hand-rubbed oil finish. Several coats of pure tung oil, cut with a little citrus solvent to help it penetrate. Built up over weeks, not hours. No film. No plastic. Just oil deep in the wood fiber doing what oil has done to wood for thousands of years. It will not look like a showroom piece. It will look like something made by a person, not a machine. And in 50 years, or whenever this box is needed, it will still look exactly like that. Honest. Real. Made by hand. This is the lesson I did not expect. And it is the most important one. About halfway through designing this project, I realized something. I will never use this box while I can appreciate it. I will never sit back and look at the finished piece and feel the satisfaction I feel at the end of every other project. This one is for other people. Entirely. Completely. And when that landed, really landed, I found myself thinking about every project I have ever built differently. The shelf I made for my daughter 20 years ago. Still in her house. Still holding her books. The table I built for my wife. The one we have eaten every Christmas dinner at since before our grandchildren were born. Those pieces are not mine anymore. They belong to the people who use them. They belong to the memories that have formed around them. That is what woodworking is, when you do it right. You are not just making objects. You are making the physical places where people's lives happen. And when I understood that, truly understood it, not just as a nice idea but as a real thing, I became a more careful woodworker. More patient. More willing to spend the extra hour getting the joint right. More willing to choose the slower finish over the faster one. Because it is not about you. It was never about you. Build like it matters. Because the people who will live with what you make, they already know it does. I am going to build this coffin. I have not started yet. The oak is not milled. The joints are not cut. But the design is done and the intention is real. When I build it, I will film every part of it. The wood selection. The milling. The joinery. The finish. All of it. And I will tell you everything I learn along the way. Because I suspect there is more to learn from actually building it than from planning it. If you want to see that video when it comes, subscribe now and hit the bell. Because that is the kind of content I will not be announcing anywhere else. Every woodworker I have ever respected has said some version of the same thing. Build as if it will last forever. Because the best ones do. I did not fully understand what that meant until I sat down and designed the last thing I will ever need built. Now tell me in the comments, is there a project you have been putting off that actually matters to you? Not a project for a client. Not a project for money. A project for someone you love, or for yourself, that you keep saying you will get to. Get to it. You have the skills. You have the tools. The only thing between you and that project is the decision to start. Share this video with a fellow woodworker who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Wood Uncle if you have not already. And I will see you in the next one. Build something that lasts.